Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of Fast Break Bets, presented by BettingPros. You know me, know the voice, know the guy. It's me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Whew. Just finished this week's episode of Traders, and I can say I need to go apply for a competition reality show. Clearly, I'm exactly what they need. I feel like I am personable enough, and I think that I have the brain power enough to go out there and win majority, not a lot, not everything, but a good number of things I think I can win on one of them shows, especially with how some people be competing. But I'm not to do that. I wonder how you do that. Kind of figure that out. Okay, I can't get into distracted about all of that because I have a lot to cover today. First, let's recap what a horrible Thursday that was. And it has so much promise too. It really, I was like, oh man, Wemby, this earlier game went exactly how I thought. Wemby had a big game in his return back to Paris. The Spurs got the win. I was kicking myself because I didn't put money down like I should have on the Spurs money line. I should have gave that play out too. It was right there, free for further taking. But I just took Wemby, and I was happy because I still hit my bet. So I would have been really, really bad if the Spurs won and Wemby didn't cash. But nonetheless, that happens. And then it goes horribly downhill from there. The Heat come out the gates very strong, win the first quarter, and then immediately stop playing basketball. Immediately 10 to 2 run to start that second quarter. They fought back in the game, made a 3-point game, and then at that point, it was horrible. The Bucks dominated from like the end of the second quarter to the rest of the game. That was nowhere even freaking close. There's something seriously wrong with this Heat team that I may. That's a very, very bad Heat as a dog loss. The Heat may lose as a dog at times. That is a very, very bad Heat as a dog loss. I will truly admit that. Okay. So Scotty Barnes also started out pretty okay. He was moving along, and then he just stopped getting assists, and the team just kept scoring, and he wasn't having any part of it. So uh Scotty Barnes RA doesn't get there. Give out De'Aaron Fox on the social media play. Good numbers against Denver. He doesn't show up. It's the Sabonis game. It's the DeRozan game. Literally, I could have picked any of the big three, and I picked the one that didn't hit. So, rough Thursday. Rough Thursday. It's okay. We ball. We move on and we ball. So, I have a number of plays to give out on a Friday slate. I'm going to talk about some NBA, going to talk about some Unrivaled. But first, I have to talk to you about the Betting Pros app and make sure you're going getting that Betting Pros app where you can track all your bets in one place with the Betting Pros app. You get your player prop picks and a prop bet cheat sheet, a prop bet analyzer that helps you. Hey, maybe you don't want to use the prop bet cheat sheet. Maybe you need something that can help you decide what's the best player prop for you. Use the prop bet analyzer as well. You have system plays as well that you can go and use data and get some very good data powered picks. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Just go try it out. It's for free. Try it out with the Betting Pros app in the App Store, Google Play Store, wherever you get your app store. Go try it out with the Betting Pros app. Okay, let's get through this because I have a lot to cover, and then I have to try to give you a quick breakdown in Unrivaled, and that's going to be long. So, really quick in the NBA, first play up, we are going to let's just go ahead and get LaMelo out the way because I am very much a narrative better. I understand that, and I've owned it because it's worked for me. I'm not gonna lie. And one of my favorite narratives to bet is when the All-Star scrubs start coming around because now everybody feel like they got something to prove. Now everybody want to go out there and hoop. Hey, they should have picked me. They should have picked me. LaMelo Ball was the number one vote getter in the East by the fans. He got the third most votes by the players. But the media has LaMelo at 7th? Oh, my fellow media members, I am so disappointed in you. Are you guys just boring? LaMelo Ball is the definition of the type of player that you should want in the All-Star game. Everybody wants the All-Star game to mean something. LaMelo Ball is actually that player. He's doing All-Star game stuff in an 82 game season. I laughed so hard. Granted, I can understand LaMelo not being in front of Jalen Brunson. Can kind of understand Spider, but I think Spider probably could have moved off there. If it was Brunson and if it was LaMelo, I would understood. I think it's really, really hard not to have LaMelo as a starter. I understand you have to move somebody off. I just think it's really, really hard not to have him as a starter. So LaMelo is 100% taking that personal. However, there's a lot of situations that makes it really, really hard to bet on LaMelo or the Charlotte Hornets. However, I am going to sprinkle a little piece of bet on it. So LaMelo's points prop is at 32. Oh man, 32. That's a lot of points to be trying to play the points prop. Even his assist prop is at 8.5. Like that is like it's a lot of juice on LaMelo's props right now for a good reason. He probably still is going to go over the number, and I'm probably going to regret this tomorrow when I don't bet it and it still hits. But I think LaMelo's going to do enough to get a double double. And that's what I'm kind of hoping on. Whether it's through the assists, whether it's through the rebounds, whether it's because he's active around the rim, or whether he's just really active in getting his teammates involved. I think he's going to do enough for at least a double-double. I may sprinkle on triple-double, but I think he's going to do at least enough for a double-double. The Portland Trailblazers have struggled at that position in terms of assists, in terms of rebounding, in terms of points, all of that. So this is a really good get-up spot for LaMelo. I can't lay 5 with Charlotte either because Charlotte is a bad basketball team and you should not lay that amount of points with a bad basketball team, even though they're playing better. However, Portland's playing better as well. I do think Charlotte can do enough to win the game. And if I know Charlotte and how they make things a lot more difficult for themselves than they probably should, they normally keep those games really, really close and then find a way to win it on the end on some crazy LaMelo shot or Bridges shot or anything. So here's a small piece of bet that I'm going to have on LaMelo for his quote unquote snub as an all-star starter yesterday. I'm going to play LaMelo double double and a win. I can't play it right now because I don't have the line. However, I am going to put that bet in tomorrow. Just giving you a little heads up now, but that's what I'm going to do there. All right. Here's a bet that I am actually placing tonight, and that is going to be the over in the Memphis Grizzlies and the New Orleans Pelicans game. The total is at 241.5. It is the highest total on the board, and I think that it may not be high enough because both of these two teams are about pace right now. They are running at a blistering fast pace. You just saw 2 games with the Pelicans, and they played with the Jazz, and both of those games was up and down the court, up and down the court, up and down the court. And then you look at the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies are coming off of a game against Charlotte where they just went up and down the court, up and down the court. They slowed down for a Minnesota team that doesn't play fast at all, but a San Antonio team that, hey, they'll play fast to people as well. It went up and down the court, a whole bunch of points scored, and it was ended up being a lot. Even the games against Houston, they took them over the total and got them to speed up the pace a little bit. Like it just seems that Memphis is perfectly fine with not defending as well as they probably have in the past and allowing this to be a blistering fast pace play game. The Pelicans are second in pace over the last 5 games. The Grizzlies are seventh. These are 2 top 10 teams in pace. These are 2 top 10 offenses. I lied, not even top 10. These are 2 top 3 offenses, 3 for the Pelicans, 1 for the Grizzlies over the course of the past 5 games in terms of their scoring. I think that this is going to be a lot of points, especially if Zion decides to actually suit up for this game. Now, we'll see. He's been on the sick report, and the sick report has been horrible over the past week, 2 weeks, honestly, maybe even 3 weeks, because it was like Bilal Koulibaly and Giannis and Dame that were like some of the early patients in the sick report. So it's been a bug going around pretty bad the NBA during this flu season. We'll see if Zion plays. Even if he doesn't, I still think the pace of play, I still think that both of these two teams aren't really concerned about defending, but just more of, hey, how fast can we go out there and get our own bucket? So I like the over 241.5 in the Grizzlies and the Pelicans game. All right, let's talk about some Unrivaled because it was a very, very fun, a very, very interesting start to the weekend in Unrivaled. And I think that I have determined exactly who do I like and for what reasons. So let me see. How do I want to start this off? We'll start with we'll just start with the games and we'll start with the teams. And as we'll go on, because I'll drop some plays over the course of the weekend of the other games and how I feel about that. And you'll start to really, really get an idea of how I feel about a lot of these teams. So 7:15 p.m. on the East Coast, the Phantom are going up against the Mist. Go ahead and I'll actually read off the rosters. So the Phantom should be starting Sabrina Ionescu, Natasha Cloud, Satu Sabali. That's what they ran over the course of the previous weekend. I don't think that they probably do need to switch something up because they didn't have a good start to the Unrivaled League. They went 0-2 last weekend. They didn't look good at all. They looked better in the second game, but the Phantom could not defend anything. And I mean anything. They gave up 80 plus points in both of their two games, 86 to Laces, 84 to the Lunar Hour. No, I'm sorry. They gave up 86 to the Laces and they gave up 84 to the Vinyl. So very, very poor defense. If I would have to characterize this Phantom team from what I've seen, it's a bunch of players that are very, very good individual players, but they have no idea whatsoever how to play 3-on-3 basketball. Like that's ultimately what I think the issue is with the Phantom. They have no idea how to play 3-on-3 basketball. So they are going up against the Mist. Shout out to the Mist. You can look at the team for the Mist. They started Jewel Lloyd, Courtney Vandersloot, and Brianna Stewart. How I feel about the Mist is that the Mist have an A1 head coach in Phil Handy, and they have probably the best duo in the league. I am very, very hard pressed to see if there's another duo that I think is better than Brianna Stewart and Jewel Lloyd in terms of getting a bucket. Like those are the two. Those two combined is a lot of offense that you have to try to stop. Yes, Nafisa Collier is having a great start to the season. Yes, she has a great team with her. I think the duo of Jewel Lloyd and Brianna Stewart really, really hard to guard. Really going to be a lot, and they can only beat themselves. Courtney Vandersloot, I'm still iffy, but I think that this roster, Dejanay Carrington, Rikia Jackson, Aaliyah Edwards coming off the bench for them. Uh, Here's how I like this game because both of these two teams are 0-2. Both of these two teams are going to be really, really desperate to get this win and not start 0-3. The total sitting here at 142.5. If we look at when Unrivaled started last Friday, the Mist and the Lunar Owls put up 164. The Vinyl and the Rose put up 152. Those both soared over the totals. Then over the course of the weekend, you saw the totals jump up. I think they jumped into the 150s and the game started to come under. Probably because, well, this is the second game. These players are playing another fast paced game, probably a little bit more fatigued in those games. Some of those players, and then it was also the fact of the Phantom not knowing how to play 3-on-3 basketball at all. They couldn't score and they dragged the total far down in that game against the Laces. The Lunar Hours and the Rose still ended up going over. So I think this is going to be an over game. I think that the week layoff and the week rest and the preparation, and if you add the desperation spot into both of these two teams, I think all of that's going to fuel the fast pace of play. I think the Phantom are going to try to. Hopefully, they figured it out a little bit more over the course of the week, but I think that the fast pace of play and the fact that both of these two teams are rested and they're both very, very locked in and focused to getting their first win in the league. I think we're going to see a lot of points here. I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth, and especially when we get into that second half, if one team is up over the other, I think you're going to see a mad dash and rush to try to close that gap before the fourth quarter starts because that fourth quarter is a timeless fourth quarter. You add 15 points to the leading team score, and then that is the target score, and then that's where you start to see the losing team start to try to play some defense and trying to catch up, and you actually saw the Lunar Owls able to end up getting their win over the Mist by coming back in that fourth quarter. So I think we see a lot of points. Give me the over 142.5 for the Phantom and the Mist game. The next game is the Laces versus the Vinyl. I will go ahead and state this right now. If I had a pick for who would win this league, I think it's between the Laces and the Vinyl. Because unlike the Phantom and unlike the Mist to a certain extent, honestly, truly, I think the Mist really just kind of carry themselves on Jewel Lloyd and Brianna Stewart, but I think they have a lot of the same issues that the Phantom have in not knowing how to play 3-on-3 basketball. The Laces and the Vinyl know how to play 3-on-3 basketball. And this is also because they have 3-on-3 basketball stars on their team. So you have the Laces, who are 2-0. They are going to be sending out a starting lineup of Tiffany Hayes, Alyssa Thomas, and Kayla McBride. Tiffany Hayes, who played in the 3-on-3 over the Olympics. And you have Jackie Young, who also has 3-on-3 experience. However, she did not play last weekend. We'll see if she plays this weekend. That will actually change my thoughts on this game as well, if she does play. Kate Martin, Stephanie Dolson, and that rounds out the Laces. Then you have the Vinyl 2-0 as well. They are going to be sending out a starting lineup of Ryan Howard, De'Erica Hamby, and Arike Agumbawale. Ryan Howard and De'Erica Hamby both won bronze medals with the U.S. 3-on-3 Olympic team this past summer. And then Jordan Canada, Ray Burrell, and Aaliyah Boston coming off of the bench for them. These two teams understand how to play 3-on-3. I think these two teams are the best teams in the league. I think the Laces are going to be my number one pick when Jackie Young comes back because of Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas is a cheat code, I feel like, in this league because of the fact of how good she is as a passer and how good she is playing the point guard role and kind of allowing those two guard wing players to kind of play free basketball, be able to make smooth cuts to the basket, make their move, and Alyssa Thomas be able to put pinpoint passes on them while also threatening to drive to the rim on her own. She doesn't pull up and shoot. She can drive to the rim, and that really threatens a lot of offense for the Laces. The Vinyl, they just look like a well-seasoned machine that understands how to continue to move the basketball in 3-on-3. I think Arike Gumawale is really, really going to be an X factor in this game because of her ability to be able to shoot on the outside, because it's going to be really, really tough trying to drive inside the paint consistently and try to get buckets over Alyssa Thomas. So I think that Arike Gumawale's outside shooting is going to be really, really big. I think we see a lot of points in this game too. I was actually surprised to see that this total is shorter than the Phantom and the Mist total. I would have thought this would have been the extremely high total in the game. We've seen both of these two teams lock in on defense in their second games last week, but they both played the Mist and the Phantom, who I think don't really understand the league just yet, and so they aren't as good of scorers. I think this is going to be a lot of points as well. I think this is going to be the game of the night, maybe the game of the weekend. I think this is potentially the two best teams in the league playing each other this early in the season. So yeah, give me the Laces and the Vinyl to go over 140.5 in this game. So hopefully I got all of that out very quickly, very concisely, and you got some of my early thoughts on the 3-on-3 league, and these may change. I could be completely wrong about everything I said because I've only seen them play, 2 games each. So, hey, we'll keep going. We'll try to figure things out, but we did hit an early bet in here. Here's 2 more. Let's see how these 2 go, and we'll go and try to bet some more in this league over the weekend. Now, here are all those plays that I gave out to you. Grizzlies, Pelicans over 241.5. Waiting on it to post, but I will be putting a little pizza bet. It won't be a full, my full bet. I'll probably do about 25% of what I normally wager on it. But I'm sorry. I'm so intrigued of LaMelo and how LaMelo responds to not being an all-star starter. So I'm going to take LaMelo. I'm going to take him for a double-double, and I'm going to take Charlotte for the win. That's going to be a pretty nice plus money price there. So I will play that. And then we're going to the Unrivaled League, and we have Mist Phantom over 142.5 and Final Aces over 140.5. We're taking 2 overs after the long week. Hopefully, they got a lot of rest, and we see a lot of up and down, a lot of pace in the game, and a lot of scoring. So, with that, that's it. Make sure you give me a follow at @reallyreal__ on X. Give me a follow at BettingPros on X and TikTok at BettingPros NFL on Instagram and YouTube.com/BettingPros. Make sure you subscribe. Give us a comment on any Fast Break Bets video. You will have a chance to win an autographed Trae Young signed jersey at the end of the month. So make sure you do that. With that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to end it like this. We are out of here. Oh, wait. There we go. Out of here.